Good evening. My name is Joshua Dodd. There are many new trends that are going on today in the world of education, and many trends that are developing each year, ranging from the way teachers are communicating with students to video games that help students learn biology. Technology has intertwined itself with society today and does not look like it's going anywhere. Throughout this video, I'm going to briefly cover a few cases where technology has drastically changed the way educators are teaching, communicating, and even grading their students. Whether or not all this has changed for the better, it is hard to deny the impact that it has had. One recent development has taken shape in the form of video games, which has many people questioning whether or not that they are a waste of time after all. In September of 2008, the makers of SimCity, EA Sports, released a game titled Spore. The game's title tagline is "Create the Universe." This has many people questioning with differing opinions about the origin of the universe, wondering how the game would present the data and on what side of this debate that it would fall on. What is more curious and perhaps more important to this video is the effects that it had on people who were exposed to this and were tested on its subject matter. The video Spore was found to hold characteristics that stimulate higher order thinking, and even though it rated poorly for accurate science, it had positive effects. In 2012, in an issue of the American Biology Teacher, Dorothy Bell Pulley, a biology professor at Roanoke College, was interested in evaluating whether a scientifically inaccurate video game could be used effectively when exposed to students in an evolution course. Students that played the game reported that they spent an average of 3 hours more a week with course material and had scored about 5% higher on course examinations than their other students. And many of the students continued to play the game and learn about evolution in the process. Students that self-reported on this said that they spent this much time with the game because the game allowed them to visualize the concepts. On the evolutionary survey, one student mentioned that a game's inaccuracies increased the understanding because they had to look up the finer points of natural selection, artificial selection, survival of the fittest, and genetic diversity because the errors were in the game. Another trend that has been becoming even more popular is the integration of social media into the classroom. Whether you like it or not, social media is in everything, and you have to appreciate what it is doing to the world around us. Again, there's much debate on the use of social media as it has made communicating with students easy, as well as cyberbullying for the students' peers. In an article for the Huffington Post, educational bloggers Jessica Porowitz and Lori David discussed the increasing issue of cyberbullying and the increase of social networking in the classrooms. Though teachers are using online tools to empower students and to take part in their education, they may also expose them to inappropriate material, sexual predators, and bullying and other harassment by peers. Teachers who are not careful with their use of the sites can fall into inappropriate relationships with students or publicize photos or information that they believe were once private. For these reasons, critics are calling for the regulation or removing of social media from classrooms, despite the positive effects they have on students and the essential tools they provide for today's digital climate. Through utilizing teaching techniques that incorporate social media, teachers are able to increase students' engagement in their education, increase technological proficiency, and contribute to a greater sense of collaboration in the classroom. Also, it helps build better communication skills and helps them in today's emerging digital world. Another study which analyzed how students performed when asked to use Twitter to do assignments found that students who were asked to contribute to the class discussions and complete using Twitter increased their engagement over a semester more than twice as much as a group that did not use Twitter. The results are undeniable, and it is interesting to see where this debate will go. The final digital trend, or technological trend that I'll talk about, is storytelling. And that is simply a story told through the use of technology that brings story to life. There's the use of animation, pictures, or personal narration, or songs that contribute to the story. Through this, a student is able to express their creativity, develop communication skills, and maybe even inspire them to write because the story is meaningful to them. Students popularly love to do two things: share stories and use technology. Teachers need to know how effective this learning strategy can impact their classrooms. One way people can build relationships is simply by storytelling. This type of technique not only helps us connect with each other, but also to express ourselves and who we are. Sharing stories helps others understand sacrifices, the struggles, and the lessons we have learned. The story itself has to have meaning. It is not just sharing a random story, but a story with significant moments. This story can be as simple as telling what your childhood was like with your first pet. The use of digital information technology in the classroom is hard to deny, and that being said, it is only natural that it interact with storytelling as well. Imagine what the environment of our classrooms would look like if our students told stories about themselves, the community, and even their heritage. It would take learning to another level. Storytelling is not just about sharing, but about relationships and creativity building. The story is like an icebreaker in a conversation. It initiates it, but we must work to keep that relationship healthy, and integrating technology can only help that. Storytelling can even make the most hostile work environments more peaceably as technology is introduced as well. Those are the emerging trends that I've decided to talk about, and I hope you have a good evening.